Ladies and gentlemen, look around you. Everything you see, every achievement, every invention, every success story was first created in someone's mind. The mind is the most powerful tool you will ever own. It can build empires, create masterpieces, and overcome impossible odds. But left undisciplined, it can also be your greatest enemy, breeding doubt, fear, procrastination, and failure. Think about it. How many times have you set goals only to be held back by hesitation, distraction, or excuses? How often have you let fleeting emotions or temporary struggles control your decisions? The truth is, without mental discipline, even the most talented, intelligent, or ambitious person will struggle to reach their full potential. You don't need more talent. You don't need more luck. What you need is control over your thoughts, focus over your distractions, and the discipline to master your mind. Because your mind is either working for you or against you, and the choice is yours. So today I ask you, are you ready to take back control? Are you ready to train your mind like the most powerful weapon it was meant to be? If so, listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you could change your life forever. Everything in your life, your success, your happiness, your relationships, your health, it all begins in one place: your mind. The way you think shapes the way you live. The problem is most people never take control of their own thoughts. They let their minds run wild, filled with distractions, negativity, self-doubt, and excuses. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they can't break through to the next level, why they're always battling the same problems over and over again. Let me tell you something. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. It's either working for you or against you. And the difference between those who create extraordinary lives and those who stay trapped in mediocrity isn't intelligence, luck, or talent, it's discipline. It's the ability to take control of your own mind, to train it, to condition it, to shape it so that it works for you instead of against you. Because if you don't discipline your mind, the world will do it for you. The world will tell you what to think, what to fear, what to believe. It will feed you negativity, distractions, and doubt until you start believing the story that you're not enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you're stuck where you are. And once you accept that story, you live it. But here's the truth. You are in control. You get to decide what thoughts you accept and what thoughts you reject. You get to decide what beliefs you feed and what beliefs you starve. And when you finally take control of your own mind, everything changes. Now, let's be real. This isn't easy. Your mind has been programmed for years, maybe even decades, to think a certain way. If you've spent years doubting yourself, hesitating, procrastinating, or reacting emotionally, those patterns are deeply ingrained. You can't just flip a switch and change overnight, but you can rewire your brain. You can train your mind just like you train your body. Think about it. If you never exercise, your body gets weak, out of shape, and vulnerable to illness. But if you train it consistently, it gets stronger, faster, more resilient. Your mind works the same way. If you don't control it, if you don't train it, it becomes weak. It falls into patterns of negativity, anxiety, distraction, and fear. But if you train it, if you discipline it, it becomes your greatest asset. You build mental discipline the same way you build physical strength, through repetition, consistency, and pushing through discomfort. That means catching yourself when you start spiraling into doubt. It means recognizing when fear is taking over and choosing to act anyway. It means shutting down negative self-talk the second it starts. And it means refusing to let distractions and emotions dictate your decisions. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action. That's why they stay stuck. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. One day you feel inspired, and the next you feel tired, frustrated, or discouraged. If you let your emotions control you, you'll always be at their mercy. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. You have to start training your mind every single day. That means feeding it the right thoughts, surrounding yourself with the right influences, and taking control of what you allow into your consciousness. If you constantly consume negativity, whether it's the news, social media, or the opinions of negative people, you're programming your mind for failure. But if you fill your mind with powerful, positive, and focused thoughts, You're conditioning it for success. You want to know the real secret to changing your life? It's not some magic formula. It's not waiting for the perfect opportunity. It's not even about setting bigger goals. It's about taking control of your mind and deciding once and for all that you will no longer be a prisoner to fear, doubt, or distraction. You decide what kind of thoughts you allow to shape your reality. You decide whether you're going to feed the beliefs that hold you back or the beliefs that push you forward. And the moment you make that decision, the moment you commit to disciplining your mind, everything starts to shift. Because once your mind is under control, the rest of your life follows. Let me ask you something. Are you going to take control, or are you going to keep letting your mind control you? Because at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Let me tell you something. Your mind is a battlefield. Every single day, thoughts are fighting for control. Some of those thoughts push you forward, give you energy, drive, and confidence. Others, they tear you down. They whisper in your ear, telling you you're not good enough, smart enough, strong enough. And if you don't take control, if you don't discipline your mind, those negative thoughts will run the show. They'll dictate your choices, your actions, your results. Here's the problem. Most people don't even realize how much negativity is running through their minds. They think doubt, fear, and hesitation are just normal. They don't question it. They assume that because they feel a certain way, it must be true. But that's a lie. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's real. It doesn't mean you have to believe it. And it sure as hell doesn't mean you have to let it control you. The greatest prison people live in isn't made of bars or walls. It's the prison of their own limiting beliefs. It's the voice that tells you that you're not capable, that you're too young, too old, too inexperienced, too broken. It's the voice that says, what if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you're not enough? And if you listen to that voice long enough, you start to believe it. You start making choices based on fear instead of possibilities. You start settling instead of striving. You start playing it safe instead of stepping up. But listen to me. That voice is a liar. It is a conditioned response built from years of fear, doubt, and past experiences. And if you don't take control, if you don't start challenging those thoughts, they will keep you small. They will keep you stuck. They will keep you from living the life you were meant to live. So how do you break free? How do you silence that voice and take back control? You discipline your mind. You train yourself to recognize when negativity creeps in, and you shut it down before it takes over. You replace it with something stronger. Because here's the truth. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant grows. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and hesitation, guess what? That's exactly what will take root. That's exactly what will dominate your thinking. But if you start planting seeds of confidence, action, and belief, those thoughts will grow instead. You have to choose what you cultivate. You have to become the master of your own mental environment. And that means you have to be relentless. You can't just do it once and expect a change. You have to train your mind daily, just like you train your body. When that voice tells you you're not good enough, you answer back, I am more than enough. When it says you're going to fail, you say failure is just part of the process. When it tells you to quit, you remind yourself why you started in the first place. You override negativity with power, with certainty, with action. And action is the key. Because if you sit around waiting for that negative voice to disappear before you move forward, you'll wait forever. It's not going anywhere. You just have to get louder. You just have to take action despite it. You just have to refuse to let it stop you. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they let fear stop them from even trying. They fail because they let their thoughts talk them out of going after what they really want. They fail because they listen to a voice that was never meant to lead them in the first place. But you are not most people. You are here because you know there is more for you. You are here because you refuse to settle. You are here because deep down, you know that the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the discipline to control your own mind. So stop waiting, Stop letting negativity dictate your future. Stop letting a voice that has never served you determine what's possible for you. Take control. Rewire your thoughts. Override the doubt with action. Because the second you do, everything changes. And the only question left is, are you willing to fight for the mind you deserve? Life is going to test you. That's a guarantee. You will face challenges. You will have moments where everything feels like it's falling apart. There will be times when you feel like you're losing, like nothing is going your way, like the weight of the world is pressing down on you. And in those moments, when things get tough, you have two choices. You can let the pressure break you, or you can use it to make you stronger. The difference between people who thrive and people who crumble isn't intelligence, talent, or even luck. It's resilience. It's the ability to take a hit and keep moving forward. It's the ability to take control of your mind when everything around you is trying to break it. Most people let their circumstances define them. They allow setbacks, failures, and hardships to shape their beliefs about what's possible. They hit a wall, and instead of pushing through, they turn around and retreat. But let me tell you something. Life is not going to slow down for you. It's not going to hold your hand and make things easy. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, if you're waiting for the struggle to stop before you go all in, you're going to be waiting forever. The people who succeed, the ones who build something extraordinary, they're not the ones who had an easy road. They're the ones who trained themselves to keep going no matter what. Because resilience is not something you're born with, it's something you build. It's something you train. And the way you train it is by disciplining your mind. By making the decision every single day that no matter what happens, you are not going to break. You are not going to quit. You are not going to let temporary pain dictate your future. Think about the strongest people you know, the ones who inspire you, the ones who seem unshakable. They weren't always that way. They had moments of doubt, moments of fear, moments when they wanted to give up, just like anyone else. The difference is they didn't let those moments define them. They didn't let failure become the end of their story. They got back up again and again. And every time they did, they became stronger. But here's the key. You don't develop resilience when things are easy. You don't build strength when everything is going your way. You build it in the moments when you feel like you can't go on. You build it when your back is against the wall, when you're exhausted, when you failed, when you don't see a way forward, but you get up and keep fighting anyway. And the way you do that is by controlling your thoughts. Because when adversity hits, your mind is either going to work for you or against you. It's either going to tell you, this is too hard, I can't do this, or it's going to tell you, I will figure this out, I will find a way, I will not quit. And that decision right there is what separates the strong from the weak. You have to start conditioning yourself to respond to challenges with strength, not weakness. The next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I use this? How can this make me stronger? Because every challenge, every setback, every failure is an opportunity to grow, if you choose to see it that way. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they give up too soon. They let the first sign of resistance stop them. They let fear and frustration convince them that it's not worth it. But if you're willing to push through that moment, if you're willing to keep going even when it's uncomfortable, you'll separate yourself from 99% of people out there. Your ability to bounce back, to stay strong in the face of adversity, to keep your mind disciplined when everything around you is telling you to give in, that is what will determine your success. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about using it. It's about recognizing that every struggle, every difficulty, every hardship is an opportunity to become stronger, smarter, and more unstoppable. So the next time life tests you, and it will, remember this. Resilience is a choice. Strength is a decision. And if you refuse to back down, if you refuse to break, there is nothing that can stop you. Your life is a reflection of your habits, Not what you do once in a while, not what you plan to do, not what you dream about, what you do consistently. Because consistency is what builds discipline, and discipline is what creates results. You want to change your life? Change what you do every single day. Most people don't get this. They think success is about making one big decision, about having one breakthrough moment that changes everything. But that's not how it works. Success isn't built in a day. It's built in the daily decisions. The little choices that seem insignificant in the moment, but add up over time. It's in whether you choose to hit the snooze button or get up and attack your day. It's in whether you feed your mind with powerful, positive thoughts or let negativity control you. It's in whether you follow through on your commitments or make excuses. Because here's the truth. Your habits are either setting you up for success or they're holding you back. There is no in between. There is no standing still. Every single thing you do is either moving you forward or keeping you stuck. And the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't isn't talent, it isn't intelligence, it's the discipline to stick to the right habits even when they don't feel like it. Think about the most successful people in any area, business, sports, relationships, health. They don't just show up when they feel like it. They don't rely on motivation. Because motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll wake up feeling unstoppable. Other days you won't want to do anything. If you depend on motivation, you'll always be inconsistent. And inconsistency kills progress. What separates the best from the rest is that they show up no matter what. They put in the work when it's boring, when it's exhausting, when no one is watching. And because they do, they create momentum. And momentum is the secret to real progress. You have to stop waiting to feel like doing what needs to be done. You don't wait until you're in the mood to brush your teeth. You just do it because it's a habit. You don't wait until you feel inspired to go to work. You show up because you know you have to. If you treated your goals, your growth, and your mindset the same way, your entire life would change. And it starts with the small things, because discipline isn't just about the big, dramatic moments. It's about mastering the little daily actions that compound over time. It's about choosing to read for 10 minutes instead of scrolling through social media. It's about training your body even when you're tired. It's about pushing through when your mind tells you to quit. Most people don't fail because they set their goals too high. They fail because they never create the habits that will get them there. They try to rely on willpower, but willpower is limited. It fades. But habits, they become automatic. They take the decision-making out of the process. And once something becomes a habit, it no longer requires effort. It just becomes part of who you are. So the real question isn't what do you want? It's are you willing to create the habits that will get you there? Because your results will always be a reflection of your daily actions. If you aren't where you want to be, look at what you do every day. Look at what you're consistently reinforcing. If your habits aren't aligned with your vision, you will never get there. It's that simple. You have to make discipline your default. You have to build habits that serve you, that push you forward, that make you stronger. Because in the end, it's not about what you say you want. It's about what you actually do every single day that determines where you end up. So ask yourself, are your daily habits taking you closer to the life you want? Or are they keeping you stuck exactly where you are? Because the answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know. Most people never reach their full potential, not because they aren't capable, but because they lack focus and self-control. They chase too many things at once, get distracted by everything around them, and allow their emotions to dictate their actions. And then they wonder why they never get ahead, why they keep starting and stopping, why they feel exhausted but never really make progress. If you want to succeed at anything, your career, your relationships, your health, your mindset, you have to develop the ability to focus. You have to discipline yourself to eliminate distractions, to cut out the noise, to stop giving your energy to things that don't serve you, because the world is full of distractions. Social media, entertainment, other people's opinions, instant gratification, everything around you is designed to pull you away from what actually matters. And if you're not intentional about where you place your focus, you will lose it. Focus is power. The sharper your focus, the faster you move forward. The more disciplined you are with your attention, the more you accomplish. But here's what most people get wrong. They think focus just means working hard. It's not just about effort, it's about direction. You can work all day and still go nowhere if you're focused on the wrong things. You can hustle, grind, and stay busy, but if you're constantly shifting from one thing to another, you never build momentum, and without momentum, you stay stuck. You have to train yourself to lock in on what really matters and block out everything else. That means being ruthless about your priorities. That means saying no to things that don't align with your vision. That means refusing to let temporary distractions pull you away from your long-term goals. And that takes self-control. Most people struggle with self-control because they've trained themselves to seek instant gratification. They want results and they want them now. They want success without sacrifice. They want the reward without the discipline. And when they don't get it immediately, they lose motivation. They switch to something else. They convince themselves it wasn't meant to be. But real success, real progress, real transformation, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens through consistent, disciplined action over time. It happens when you stay locked in on your vision, even when it feels like nothing is happening. It happens when you push through frustration, boredom, and self-doubt without looking for an escape. The people who win in life aren't the most talented, the most intelligent, or the luckiest. They're the ones who have mastered self-control. They're the ones who don't let distractions steal their time. They're the ones who stay committed to their goals even when the excitement fades. They're the ones who don't allow their emotions to control their actions. Because emotions are temporary. They change from day to day, moment to moment. If you allow them to dictate your decisions, you'll always be inconsistent. You'll make choices based on how you feel instead of what you know you need to do. And inconsistency is the enemy of success. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Self-control is the ability to override temptation, to shut down excuses, to stick to your commitments no matter what. And if you can master those two things, focus and self-control, there is nothing you can't accomplish, but you have to train it. You have to become aware of what's stealing your focus. You have to recognize when you're falling into patterns of distraction, procrastination, and emotional decision-making. You have to catch yourself in the moment and make the conscious choice to stay disciplined. Because every time you do, you strengthen that muscle. Every time you do, you take back control. And when you take control of your focus and your actions, you take control of your results. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You stop hoping for things to change and start making them change. So ask yourself, where is your focus right now? Are you fully locked in on what you want? Or are you letting distractions, emotions, and instant gratification pull you away? Because in the end, your ability to focus and control yourself will determine how far you go. Everything in life comes down to the standards you set for yourself. Not what you say you want, not what you hope will happen, what you demand of yourself every single day. Your standards determine what you tolerate, what you accept, and ultimately, what you become. And the truth is, most people don't get what they want in life. They get what they settle for. Look around. You see people who complain about their circumstances, their job, their health, their relationships, but they do nothing to change them. Why? Because deep down, they've accepted that this is just the way it is. They've settled for a life that's less than what they're capable of. Not because they don't want more, but because they never raised their standards high enough to demand more. You have to ask yourself, what are you settling for? Are you accepting mediocrity in your health because you tell yourself it's too hard to eat right and exercise? Are you settling for a job that drains you because you're afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone? Are you tolerating toxic relationships because you don't believe you deserve better? Everywhere in your life where you feel unfulfilled, I promise you, it's because your standards aren't high enough. The difference between people who achieve greatness and people who stay stuck is not talent or luck. It's the level at which they refuse to accept anything less than their best. The ones who rise, the ones who thrive, They don't settle. They don't make excuses. They don't lower their expectations to match their current reality. They raise their standards and then do whatever it takes to meet them. Because when you truly raise your standards, your entire identity shifts. You stop making excuses. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop allowing your old patterns to dictate your future. It's no longer a question of if, it's a matter of when. You don't say, I should start taking care of my body. You say, I must. You don't say, I want to be financially free. You say, I will. That shift from wanting to demanding is what changes everything. Most people never do this because raising your standards means letting go of comfort. It means stepping into the unknown, doing things you've never done, pushing past your limits and refusing to go back. And that scares people. Because it's easier to stay where you are than to demand more and risk failing. It's easier to tell yourself a story about why you can't than to change the story and take action. But comfort is the enemy of growth. If you never challenge yourself, if you never push past what's easy, you will never grow into the person you're capable of becoming. Growth requires discomfort. It requires sacrifice. It requires the discipline to keep moving forward even when it's hard. You have to make the decision that you will no longer settle. You will no longer accept less than your best. You will no longer lower your standards to make things easier. You will raise your game to meet them. And the moment you make that decision, the moment you commit to it fully, everything changes. Because life will always meet you at the level of your standards. If you expect little of yourself, that's exactly what you'll get. But if you demand excellence, if you commit to operating at the highest level no matter what, life will rise to meet you. So the question is, what are you going to accept from yourself moving forward? Because your standards are shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. And the second you decide to raise them, the second you refuse to settle, you step into a whole new level of power